Let's see. Oh. Apparently it's working on YouTube as well, so that's great. All right. Let's see what's going on here. I did bring this file up. Open yesterday. This one, and the vertical one. It's the one you wanted more this way or that way? Which one is vertical? Let's open the other one. I'm not even really sure what it's for, and I kind of like the other one better. But it totally doesn't matter. So usually for openings, it's ideal not to be thinner than it is deep. So these are 1/4 inch material. And these are only, like I think, you know, that's an 1/8 inch across. So you could do the outline. Should actually bring up the Hypotherm manual quick. Probably makes some sense. I think I have it on my computer. Nope. That is not it. Here, I'm just going to find it in another page here. 45 XP manual. XP manual revision 3. Here we go. Come on. My bandwidth is probably slow because not only am I streaming on Twitch, I'm sending a whole nother stream to YouTube. Yeah, it's just killing my bandwidth. They're probably clamping it right now, my provider. Come on. Make it through. There we go. 45 XP. So they had some tips. Actually, I'll just look at the index instead of randomly trying to find where my page it's on. Mechanized cutting, guides for marking, 117. And it gives some guidelines kind of for, you know, what's going to look better. Where does it talks about here? Recommended instead of the stop, alternative, 2-step, stop, start, stop. 90-degree corners are difficult to achieve on most tables. So we'll want to kind of maybe give a little bit of a radius to some of these corners. And that makes sense. You want to start and then stop into an ended line. Okay. I can never even imagine achieving these results. Ever. Like, look at how nice that result is. I wish they would tell you size-wise how big that is, but that's got to be pretty small if that's just basically a kerf width. And you're basically going to be just setting it to as short of a pierce delay as you possibly can get it. And it's still going to look more like this, I can imagine, when it gets done. I can't imagine achieving those results. It just seems insanity to me. Anyhow, that's what I wanted to look at, though, is this page down here where it shows some of these cornering guidelines. This would be kind of relevant. All right. So we're going to want to redo some of the geometry for in here. So let's go back, or we are in design still, so that's great. I'm going to add another sketch to the top of this. Oh, it is I see what you mean by vertical. Okay. Like that. Yeah. And I'm going to just see if there's any SHX style fonts I have that are similar to this meters, which are single line letter fonts. I forget what SHX stands for, but let's go to text. And I'm not sure if you typed this or brought in a drawing, maybe a drawing. So I'm going to go to the SHX style fonts, which are always up. So the list always starts at A and goes down with all the normal fonts, but if you go up on the list in Fusion 360, it's all the SHX style fonts. But there's no previews or anything like that, so. Well, there is kind of a preview over here, but there's not a preview in the actual bar, selection bar. So we're going to go meters here. Actually, I'll go in meters. And we'll just go through here and find a font that I think I have like 900 of these fonts. Collect them. Of course, they're not all in here for some reason. Oh, because I updated. Yeah, lame. So that's probably the closest one anyways. A little bit more of a squared off. So you almost got to make it. You know what? Let's try a different method here. Let's go in and try to use this actual font here to make a drawing. Oh yeah. Sorry, getting wild here. I hit some buttons I wasn't supposed to and they got click happy for a second. So it is kind of an interesting arc there between here and here. Trying to think if there's a better way I can proceed here. I'm going to try something else here, see if I can get the centers a little better. Give me some kind of like some center targets to hit. Yeah, let's do that. 2, 1. It's going to be a mess. Basically, I've got to do some kind of single line entity across here that's very, very similar to this. Trying to think of the most effective, but also true to the design as possible way to go about it. I think this way would be the most true to design way, but also the most laborious, which is usually the way I tend to do things for some reason. Let's go make sure it's 180 degrees. There we go, 90 degrees. So we'll call that the line. You know what, maybe I will do another sketch over top of this. I know it seems like a lot of work, but it kind of is, because you're making new fonts from scratch. So I'm just using the offset tool to kind of give me a rough, closer approximation to center when I'm doing this. I actually could just almost delete one of those lines. to try to do that. Way more than one way to skin a cat in this. I'm going to get the closest I can on all of them to. There we go. Because we're at such a micro level that I think we can get away with what I'm thinking here to. Four. I just might as well do the E, the other E the same. Oh, not quite, eh? See, even these E's aren't the same. There we go. So if I went back in here now and went delete, trying to think which line is better here. Actually, I like the inner line of both of them better, but it should be the outer line of both of them. So I'm going to put in some geometry here. Okay. I know this seems crazy, but what else do you do when you got a custom font and you want to try to single line letter a custom font? You kind of got to do it. There. So I don't mind that S at all. I think that'd be just fine. And see the R, it seems like I should do this to me. This. End up using all these tools. See, I almost want to be straight across there, just longer. And that doesn't look good, but we can go in here now and manipulate these pieces of geometry. There we go. There. Okay, let's trim some pieces out of here and get rid of some of that baseline geometry we were using. Delete. There, R looks good. Let's try try this E now. Actually, we could probably delete and just use a lot what's here. Kind of like the outer one better, I think. All right. To connect up. That's not what I want. I'm sure I can. No. There. Thank you. That is what I wanted. Okay, I might just drag and move that whole E over there when we do it. Let's go right from the middle here. And it's a little off, so I might just go straight, just go 90. Okay. I'm going to go down to about here, and then I'm just going to, I'm not sure why I went down forever there, but that's not what we want. I'm going to try again. Right, let's start about there. We're going to get the spline tool out. Did that really do some kind of lock there? I hope not. There we go. Yeah, I like that better. Get a little squirrely here, I don't like. No, I don't like that anymore. There. I am going to do this though. Perfect. Okay, next one done. This one, I'm just going to go like this. And dot. Let's move this, this, and all this. I'm going to copy that. I'll just drag that copy over to this E. Yeah, like that. Okay. Delete the other one. E's done, and let's get this M done, and pretty well getting close here. What time is it? 4:30. Just seeing if the R was kind of the same, but it's a little different. should have some background music going. I want to do this. It's going to get squirrely for a second, but then we can... Oh, it's not bad at all. It's almost perfect. I wonder if I could do this, though. Move, and we'll just copy a bunch of this. And just create a copy and drag it over. Would that be suitable for the other part of the M? Yeah, totally. Okay. I want that to just attach right there. Or at least be on it. Okay, I like that enough. Delete this one. That's more like it. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. And then we'll do the NM again. Not again, but for the first time. Okay. The only reason I'm doing that, it kind of just gives me a idea where center is. There's no real geometry, or how do I explain it? I want to go bigger than that. It's not good enough. I can kind of gauge where center of the mass is this way. Definitely not doing it like that. Do you want to skateboard like Blaine, hon?
Yeah, because I feel left out with no skateboard. Then I want to play Mario or the monkey game. Because I just want a skateboard. Can you get me one skateboard?
Maybe, buddy. I'm on the computer right now. Can you give me a few minutes? And
I'm getting one skateboard.
Okay. I wonder if I should go down to there. No, I'm going to here. Yeah, it's hard to turn this font into a single line font. I wouldn't say hard, but it's design-wise, it's kind of hard. How do you truly represent it without it being weird? I'm going to mirror this. And then we can actually explain the real part. Okay, let's do that. Use this mirror tool. Perfect. Okay. I don't mind this. This is what I'm going to do with this one. All right, let's see if we can do a break here. Trim. Oh yeah. So I think this will work. It's not connected. There. All right. Meters. All right. So let's close everything else so we can actually see what we have here. Yeah, I'm not sure. You might want to do something different with that. But anyhow, let's finish the sketch. And we'll bring back up that body. And it's still cut out, and that's fine. Or we could fill it back in by just going like this. P for project. Okay, and then just go extrude, and just extrude all these. Just might make it easier for the next time, or next part. They'll always be available in the timeline down here below. Alright, okay. Let me make sure I didn't just use new body instead of join. That's what I want. Okay. I had two little anomalies here I must have not clicked. Okay, I'm not sure. Oh, right here. Weird. Okay, perfect. Let's get that sketch up here. Now we'll go into manufacturing. And it looks like you started a setup here, which is perfect. Let's use that one. I'm going to edit this setup. We're going to move our stock box point. So this is kind of, oh, you must be using a, no. Yeah, I'm not sure why your box point's up there. That's why. Let's, oh, I don't know if you have an XR or not. Okay. Do you have an XR? Sorry, I'm just looking up and yes, Crossfire XR. So if you're zeroing from your 0 point on the XR, so I don't have an XR, but I would assume it's here actually. So if you're running your corner of your stock, and that's cutting right tight to the edge. So like you might want to take a piece of stock and go out about 1/4 inch around it, and then that's your 0 point. Perfect. We're going to do everything off of that. So we're going to do our first program. We're going to come in with, I'm just going to grab random tools out of my library because, oh, there you go. Hypertherm, quality cut. You have one in here. Let's use that. So we'll use that for the outside. So I'm just going to click this, face contours, and I'm just going to use whatever generic lead in, lead outs are here. So it cuts all that stuff. Perfect. But that's not going to be what we want for our first one. Let's delete this one here. That was all this. And now under setup or up here I can add another toolpath, and this is going to be all my single line letter stuff. So under geometry I'm going to drop down to sketch profiles. Then I'm going to go into the left hand side here into the browser bar under models, and I'm going to find that sketch, which was sketch 3. No, was it sketch 3? Sketch 2? Oh, it projected everything. Excuse me. We're going to cancel that for a sec. We are going to go back in design, and I'm going to start another sketch just on the XY plane. And this time I'm going to project all that single line stuff to it so it's on its own. Just going to take a second here. All right. Finish, and then when we go back to manufacturing and we're doing that other toolpath under selecting sketch profiles, we'll do that new one. 5 we just got. You can see that it selected all of that. And under here, a couple points. Okay. A couple points we're going to go over is sideways compensation to center. You can always reduce magnitude. It's always fine. Add some smoothing if you wanted. Get rid of the lead in, get rid of the lead out, get rid of the pierce clearance, all to 0. Let's see what it decided to cut for us. Okay. The other, so we can export these programs separately, but they both have the same 0 point. So if you load one after another, they're both going to load to that same 0 point. That's the important part. They're both part of the same setup. And so if I have this selected in blue and I go out and export it, it'll export that portion of it, but you know for a fact it's using the same setup. It's using the same origin. So if you go up to profile 1, export that separately, and then export this separately, I know that this origin's the same. But let's just look at it as an entirety right now. If we go into simulation and hit go, here, let me get rid of that sketch. Get that sketch too. Here it's cutting, and then it should have cut the inside first, right? So instead of doing it that way, what we will do is go exit simulation, and I'm going to grab this one, hold left click and drag it and drop it in front of the other one. Right here. So hard for me to see on my screen. There. Now let's go back to simulation. Perfect. do it one more time. But we want to do 2 programs back to back. So what's great about that is, let's say I just did profile 1, make sure see it's how it's only highlighted in blue, and I go up to here to simulation. If I was to do that same thing and create G-code from it, it would just do that. And it doesn't move on to the next profile. Yeah, and I can actually get crazy here and insert stock into here so I can have it visually represent the second toolpath. But yeah, I'd be interested how that's going to work with this marking consumables. I have to whip mine out and try it sometime. I'm going to exit the simulation again. So when you're exporting these, make sure you select which one you want individually. So I'll go in here, let's say, and select this one. Go up here. I'm going to call this, what the hell was this thing? Lift tab, marking, and then maybe program 1 of 2. Perfect. We're going to go in here. Oh, those are all our settings, let's say. Let me post that one. And now we make sure we push down on profile 2, have it highlighted, go up to cutting, not cutting, excuse me. Make sure you have profile 2 highlighted, go up to the G-code, and we're going to call this lift tab cutting program 2 of 2 post, and then let me bring up this NC editor here. NC viewer. It's a good program. So now here we go. We got an NC viewer. This just so we kind of see it in another program besides Fusion. I wish I could simulate fire control on here, but I can see why they don't allow that. It opens up the door for it being used in other places. Okay, so I'm going to open a file. I'm going to open the NC files we just had, which are on my desktop, which are right here. So program 101, and you can see it's just the cutting part of the program. You could if there. So you can see here it's just the cutting part of that program for the, or marking, excuse me, it's just the marking part of that program. And its origins right there, same place. So now let's load the next program. That's, let's say we ran that, cut it, good. Okay, we go in here, do lift tab 2. And you can see the origin ends up in the same place. All right. I think that pretty much goes over it. I will post the F3D file I just made to our conversation. All right, thanks. Have a good one.